Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Post. Man, Brandon, you brought the fire last night, brought the fire. But this is just where we take your message and break it down a little bit more because we don't want to leave Wednesday on Wednesday.
Exactly.
We want to just take it with us through our weekend until we get to Sunday. And then we get filled back up again.
Yeah.
But we're just going to go on dive in real quick here. Got 4 questions today. You good? 4 questions?
More questions. I was long-winded last night. I talked for a while.
It was a long one last night. It was a long one.
Hey, I like it.
Love it. All right, here we go. How can we have joy when circumstances change?
Really, with that, and we talked about it last night. Really, all these we talked about last night, but it's diving a little bit deeper, like you said, and we hit on circumstances do change.
Yeah.
Like that's like one of those things where it's like, man, I know that circumstances will change.
Life 101.
Exactly. Like things are gonna happen. Plans change. People are late. People are messy, and we need to realize that life is messy. But whenever circumstances change, really, whenever the anger or like being upset or your happiness being stripped from you, whenever that happens and that takes a priority, that shows you that your focus is completely on the wrong things. So to have joy on that, I would say fix your focus. And what are you focused on? Because joy isn't based off of your circumstances, but it's based off of a Savior. And really fixing our focus back on Jesus and knowing that his word is true, that he is who he says he is, that he's going to do what he says he's going to do, that his promises stand, and that, hey, even though it may not have went how you wanted, even though it changed, know that God still remains and that we can have joy in Jesus because he'll always remain. He'll always stay the same, and you don't have to worry about him ever leaving you, ever forsaking you. He's right there with you.
That's so good. Take notes. I'm telling you all. It's a game changer. That's so good. But we're going to go on and go to question 2. When someone hurts us or upsets us, how should we handle it, and how can we have joy within it?
I know we didn't really talk much. I said that we talked about everything. I know we didn't really talk any about how we should handle it, but really it's just one of those things to where going back kind of to the first answer of whenever we fix our focus on Jesus, we ask ourselves those questions of what would Jesus do? And it's like, man, we just talked about people are messy. People make mistakes. People aren't perfect. And what we should do is show the same grace to them that God has shown to us. But not only that, but they're saying you live and you learn. Man, sometimes you got to live and learn and love people, but learn even during the loving. And sometimes like you need to separate yourself from some people that are going to continue to hurt you. And it's just a pattern. And it's like, man, they keep doing it. Sometimes you need to step away from that relationship or that friendship group, whatever it looks like. But how can I handle it? Show them grace, show them love, but also learn from it. Yeah. But then how can I have joy then? Because man, it's going to be tough for me to handle some of these things. It's going to be hard for me to handle whenever they hurt me or whenever they upset me or whenever they make me mad. It's going to be difficult. So how can I do it? How can I have joy even in the midst of that? And it's one of those things where, listen, it's going to be hard. It is. I'm here to tell you firsthand, it's going to be hard. There's people in my life that have hurt me, and things have happened that have upset me, that have angered me. But control what you can control, first off. Control what you can control. But having joy in it, like I said in the first one, is fixing your focus on Jesus. But I would say grow in your relationship with Jesus? How is your relationship? Everything's not based on a feeling, but so many times we react on a feeling, and our reactions are so bad. And it's like, oh, we blame someone else for their actions. And it's like, man, at the end of the day, I'm to love and live like Jesus. So I need to control my reactions. Like, even though it may be justified in your eyes and in the world's eyes, that's not how it should be. So instead of focusing on the feelings, focus on your faith, focus on your relationship with God, and say, how is my relationship with God? Like, really, how is it? And whenever you dig into God's word, you see who he is. You see what he's done for you, even in spite of what you've done to him. Man, you can't help but to have joy.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, even in the midst of that, you can have joy because you know what Jesus has done for you and what he says about you, how much you're loved, how much you're cared about, and how much grace has been shown to you.
And that's so good. And you were talking about sometimes you do need to step away from those relationships. But I think one important thing, if you think you need to step away from those relationships, still love them.
Exactly.
Just because you're not around them and you're not hanging out with them, you can still love them. I think that's something that I struggle with the most. Yeah. It's, man, if I'm not around you, then I don't feel like I love you. Exactly. But if I'm living like Jesus, I'm going to love you no matter what.
And one of the greatest ways to love someone, and it's one of those things to where I got to practice what I preach. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to do. Like I said, it's going to be hard. But one of the greatest things that you can do for someone, one of the greatest ways that you can love someone is pray for someone.
Yep.
Pray for them. Yep. And a genuine prayer, not one that I pray for them because they're awful. Like, actually pray for them and be there for them and love them, like Josh said there. And whenever you get angry or upset, I'm gonna reach out here. I know it's a little different.
Reaching,
but someone, like, they can't make you angry. They can't make you upset. You have a choice.
Yeah.
You have a choice of how you handle it.
Exactly.
It's hard, but you do have a choice. But whenever you do focus on your faith and you grow in a relationship with him, I think it comes to fruition. It comes to fruit more. But going back there, man, pray for him. It's one of the greatest ways. And I don't know about you if you practice this. I know some other people I've talked to, they shared it with me, is whenever someone, you do get upset with someone and you do get angry, pray for them, because you can't stay angry at someone when you're praying for them.
Exactly.
You can't help but love them because it's an act of love. It's an act of Jesus.
Yep.
And it's just game changing.
That's so good. Man, I think I could talk about that for the rest of the time. But when things aren't what we want, or when we want it, or how we want it, how can we have joy when it's not all of those things?
Yeah, say it one more time.
I'm going to read this. Here we go. When things aren't what we want, when we want it, and how we want it, how can we have joy during those times?
So I use I talked about this a little bit, the analogy of, and that's why I had to read it again, because it's just so funny for me that we do it so often. Like, it literally just happened this past weekend. We were celebrating your birthday and this happened. And that's right. That's right. Happy birthday, Josh. Late. Happy birthday. That's right.
It's late, but it's all right. Still accepting gifts.
That's right. Send it to any gift cards. You can send an email at bsparks. There you go. But no, it happened this weekend. And it was so funny. Like, just as I was thinking about it, it's so often things don't go our way. Like, they don't go our way. And we don't notice it, but we want perfection all the time. We do.
Yeah.
Like, if there's not perfection, and we know people aren't perfect, we know it, but yet for whatever reason we have in our mind that
we still have that standard.
Exactly. That everything should just be perfect. And I know for me, I'm a people pleaser, and I try to be perfect for everyone, and I fail, and I would get down on myself, so on and so forth. But people aren't perfect. They're not. Like I said at the very beginning, people are messy. People aren't perfect, but we have that standard for them. But so often what happens is a lot with what happens like at a restaurant. Like I said, we went out and this happened, is we can go to our favorite restaurant. We can get our favorite meal and get what we want.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't come when we want it and how we want it, we go from happy to hateful real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Because our happiness is based on perfection. It's based on how that meal comes out. Is it hot? Is it cooked? Even like whenever they come to your table, how's everything looking for you?
Yeah.
I don't know, but like one of two things happens whenever it doesn't look that good. It's you become hateful. You send it back. I don't even want it. I don't even want food. I'm done. Or you get it and you pout all the time.
Yep.
That's good.
It's all right. Whatever.
Yeah. That happens so often to where we're not full of joy. And it's like, well, we know people aren't perfect. However, our happiness so often is based on perfection.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you right now, if it's based on perfection, listen, you're going to have a lot of down times because things aren't always going to be how you want it, when you want it, and what you want, period. But it goes, well, how can I have joy then? And it talked about it. It's not about perfection, but it's about perspective.
Yeah.
How do you see it? How do you see it? Do you see it as a time of, man, we're out celebrating? Do you see it as a time of like just being around people? Do you see it as a time that, hey, maybe they're having a bad day? And you're able to still have joy just simply because I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
And even though it's not going the way I want right now, even though it's not what I want, even though it's not how I'd want it or when I would want it, and I'm going to trust that Jesus does work all things together for the good. And that you have that heavenly perspective that even though I don't see it right here, I know here it's going to happen. Why? Because his word says it. And so it's not about perfection, but it's about perspective. And whenever you switch from perfection to perspective, let's get stuck. Man, it brings joy.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. That's so good. I can talk about that one for a long time because I think that's one of the main things I struggle with is because that's something you have to practice every day.
Every day.
Because if you plan your day out, almost like pretty much like I plan my days out.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it doesn't go how I want it, when I want it. And what do?
It's like chaos, man.
Exactly. And you just have to choose joy from it. You just have to flip your perspective that, hey, God gave me breath today. Maybe I don't need to make my plan. Maybe I don't need to plan it. Maybe I just need to trust him and trust what he's going to do today. But yeah, I think we could talk about that for a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
that one's a good one. That's a good one. We're going way over today, but
we did last night too.
We did. It's all right. It's just that kind of week.
If you're still with us, come on now.
Yeah, if you're still with us, drop a let's go down in the comments.
Yeah,
here we go.
You were rolling.
But we're actually to the last question, so you're almost done, but it's a juicy one. Here we go. How can we trust Jesus this week?
You know what Nike says, just do it. I mean, honestly, it's like, how do I trust? Just trust.
That's what it sounds so simple, but it's like that's the answer.
Yeah,
like, I mean, and it is harder than what it is. Here he goes.
All right. So, right here, I see a chair. Right? I mean, we both did this. Like, it's not. And if you're at your house, I mean, watching or wherever you're at, if you're in a vehicle, you get in, turn it on, and I see this chair, and I just go and I sit in it. Like I don't know. I don't know the weight limit on it. I don't know if someone took some screws out. Like I don't know. I don't know if it. But I trust it. Like even though I wasn't there to put it together, even though I'm not the one who has made it, even though like I haven't checked it and all these things.
Yeah.
I sit in it. Why? I trust it. I trust the people who put it together. I trust the ones who made it. And so, I mean, it's one of those things, you just trust him. Like I said, I know the ones who made this. I know the ones who put it together. So since I know him and I have a relationship with him, can't help but trust him. I think that it's the same thing there, that, man, if you really don't know Jesus, if you don't have a relationship with Jesus, you're going to have a tough time trusting Jesus. Mm-hmm. So this week, man, I want to encourage you. First off, if you don't know him as Lord and Savior of your life, man, get to know him.
Yeah.
Man, turn your life over to him. It's the best decision that you could ever make. He's going to give you joy even in the midst of circumstances changing. He's going to give you joy even though times are going to come up and people are going to hurt you and you're going to be upset and anger is going to fill you. He can give you joy even whenever things aren't perfect. Mm. He gives you joy because even though they aren't perfect, we're going to the wrong source for perfection. There's only one that's perfect, and he's the one who brings joy. He's the one that will never leave you nor forsake you, and his name is Jesus. He's always there for you. So if you don't know him, you know, I know it's a little different on the post. Like, I know it's a little different because it's not really like a message, but if you've never given your life to him, I'm going to encourage you and just cry out to him right now. Say, God, I'm sorry. Please forgive me of my sins. Jesus, I believe that you came. Jesus, I believe that you died. And Jesus, I believe that you rose again. And today I declare you as Lord of my life. Please forgive me. And if that's you, I truly believe that the Bible teaches that you are saved. And I'm so proud of you. We're so proud of you. Yeah. And we just want to, love on you. We just want to help you on your journey with Jesus because, you know, it's tough. It's hard. Things are going to happen. Yeah. They are. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. They're going to happen. But Jesus, even in spite of that, will always remain. And that's what we talked about during this series, that you can have hope because he remains. You can have joy because he remains. Next week, we're going to be talking about how you can have peace because he remains. But you want to trust him, man. That's your first step. Mm-hmm. That's your first step. That, man, I trust him. I put my faith and trust in him. You just did it. So you have to have a relationship with him. You must know him. You must know him on a deeper level. Mm-hmm. You know him. So this week, man, know what he says. You know, we talked about perspective and the promises that he has for you. Do you know his promises? Like, do you know his promises? Can you hold him to his word because you know his word? Mm-hmm. If not, get into his word. Yeah. Get into his promises. See what he's already said about it. Get to know him. Man, and that will gain that trust with him. Yeah, I know it's a little long.
It's so good. Holy crap. Man, we did go really long today, but it's okay.
It's fun.
It's okay. I feel like this is one of the best ones that we've done.
It's a good time.
The best is yet to come, though. We're getting better. Here we go. All right, guys. Well, that is it for this episode of The Post. We'll see you right here, 5 p.m. next Thursday. See you guys.